What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, FightfulWrestling.com. Here with Angelina Love. You can see her at Ladies Night Out 5 Saturday, February 23rd from the World Gym Arena in Texas City. You can get tickets at realityofwrestling.com, but it is also streaming live on TitleMatchNetwork.com. Angelina, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. I see you front and center in this Ladies Night Out poster. Lots of big names on this show. Kiera Hogan, Thunder Rosa, Jazz, Taya, Evilise, Barbie Hayden. Tell me how this came about, you working on this Ladies Night Out show.
I got hit up by one of the promoters probably a couple months ago, honestly. I think they were wanting to get their talent booked pretty early. So, yeah, we just talked it out real quick, and I actually had a choice in who I worked. They wanted it to be somebody that I have not worked before. So I have not worked Kiera. So this will be a first-time match.
Kiera Hogan, a person who is really rising on the Impact Wrestling scene, a scene that you are very familiar with as you've been in and out of there for a good portion of your career. What drew you
I've been there for a minute.
Yeah. What drew you to wanting to work against Kiera Hogan?
Well, like I said, they were wanting to do like a first time ever match. And I've worked a lot of women and I have not worked her before. So, and I remember, I want to say the first time I saw her was at a show somewhere in Georgia. I want to say it was when I was pregnant. So I wasn't wrestling, but I was there because I think my ex was wrestling. But I remember she wrestled, I can't remember who she wrestled, but she was really sweet. I could tell she had a lot of spunk, a lot of energy. She wanted me to watch the match. She wanted my feedback, and I just remember really appreciating that. She's a really sweet girl.
So, yeah, she's really making her impression felt and Impact. Impact is a place that you've, like I said, been in and out of for a long time. It seems like a year doesn't pass where you aren't making some kind of appearance for Impact. I know that you even wrestled Tennille Dashwood on the Wrestle Pro Brace for Impact show last year. What do you think contributes to that? Because, I mean, a lot of times when that happens, people don't necessarily retain the best relationships with companies, but that doesn't seem like it's been a problem with you at all.
Well, no, the first time, I had left WWE Developmental, and that was when they were starting the Knockouts division. We were like rocking and rolling at that time. And then my visa issue came up. So that was my first absence. And then when that got all sorted out, I went back because I never wanted to leave because of that, And then the second time I had left, that was on my own terms. It's a crazy story that goes along with it, but that just was not working for me at the time. And then I know they were wanting to do the Beautiful People again because, I mean, Velvet and I have been doing that for 11 years. Like, it's still a very high in-demand gimmick, which is awesome. So they wanted to kind of reprise that there. And then we did that, and then I got pregnant. Can't wrestle when you're pregnant, obviously. So I was I was still under contract. I was doing hair and makeup backstage, and then my contract ran out right around the time I gave birth to my son. So, and then we came up with this cool storyline with my ex and then Eddie and his wife, Alicia. And we did that for about 7 months. And then I kind of realized that was not going anywhere either once we kind of came to the culmination of it. So then I had asked for my release. If somebody can't figure out my worth or know what to do with me properly after 10 years, then I don't think it's going to figure itself out.
Well, there have been a lot of regime changes in Impact, and without me really looking into it, I assume that you have some sort of working relationship in the past with Scott D'Amore or Don Callis.
Started.
Yeah, considering the geographical location, it seems like everybody from that area has worked with or for Scott D'Amore at some point.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, well, if you think about it, like a lot of Impact and a lot of the indies and major companies in general have a lot of Canadian talent.
Sure.
And BCW was like the indie to work, especially when my group was coming up in my time, like 2000, 2002. It was me, Tracy Brooks, Gail Kim, Eric Young, Bobby Roode. Like, there's a lot of us from that area on the Ontario Indies, and D'Amore's promotion, Border City Wrestling, was one of the best ones to work.
Yeah, I was talking to you off the air about an old match that we have footage of you from, and that same reel has yourself, it has Bobby Roode, it has Eric Young, and then you would have like the occasional, at the time there were a lot of ECW wrestlers working that circuit as well, because that's right after ECW had kind of folded. So it's always interesting to look back and see how tight knit and how many of those people are still around. Yourself and those other names that we just mentioned, you all are still wrestling and doing it at a high level. What does that mean to be able to do that? Because it was like just before then you would see a lot of people winding their careers down in their late 30s. It seems like that's prime these days.
Sure, yeah. To say somebody in their mid 30s or whatever is past their prime is intensely not untrue. But yeah, it was just a really great time when we were all coming up, and talent speaks for itself. So if you're still doing something 20 years later and you're still going hardcore and you're in high demand and you're making money and you're doing the big shows, then you're still doing something right.
I know that you've already worked a couple matches this year. I know that I think you were in Oklahoma recently. Is working a more full-time schedule something that you'd be open to? I know that you've got a lot on your plate as is.
Well, my son is number one, obviously. So, I work, most of the bookings I take are maybe on like a time when, my ex will have my son for their time. But yeah, like I'm a medical esthetician, so I have a job here, but it's really good because they let me do my own schedule, and there's free daycare where I work as well, so that's a big plus. But as far as wrestling goes, like, yeah, that's still obviously the meat and majority of my income. And yeah, like my son and his schedule comes number one, and thankfully with wrestling, it's kind of the same as my real job. Like I can pick and choose dates and shows as they work for me and my time and my schedule. So.
You also had a run with House of Hardcore. What was that like? How did that come about?
Oh, geez. I've known Dreamer forever. Dreamer's the reason I have a career. I was Dreamer's first hire when he was in talent relations in WWE.
Oh, wow.
Back in 2004. So, I've known Tommy forever. He's a huge supporter of mine. I adore him to itty bitty pieces. He's a wonderful man. And yeah, when he started doing House of Hardcore, he's had me on a lot of his shows. They're super fun. I mean, if you ever want to have a boss, you'd want it to be Tommy Dreamer. Like he's super knowledgeable. He's very smart. He's got all his ducks in a row, but he's also like laid back and like he loves wrestling. Like it is his entire life. So he's really fun to be around and really fun to work for.
Now what year did you get into the wrestling business? Around 2000?
In the year 2000.
So obviously women's wrestling has changed a lot since then. Has the change in women's wrestling helped keep you around a little bit longer? I mean, I know you aren't taking as many bookings as you used to. Obviously you have a child to care for, but just everything's so different now than it was then. How has that affected the way that you take bookings and perform in the ring?
I'm sorry, one more time with that.
How has the way that women's wrestling changed since you broke into the business, changed the way that maybe you approach bookings or in ring?
Well, I remember like when I started, I was only 18. There wasn't a lot of girls on the Ontario indie scene. I did notice when I first broke in that the girls that were in the locker room were either like wrestlers' girlfriends or strippers. And I remember like I was only 18 and I was like, well, where are the wrestlers? And like all the guys were like, you want to be a wrestler? And I was like, hell yeah, I do. Like they hadn't seen that from like a young girl coming up that actually like wanted to be productive and wanted to, chase her dream and realize her dream and actually like serious about this, wrestling thing. So, there wasn't a lot. I mean, like I worked Tracy Brooks a bazillion times because like, I was the small, young little blonde haired baby face. And she had these big implants, she had dark hair and she was real sexy. And, we were just like the perfect baby face heel match. So we worked a lot and, oh man, there's so many ebbs and flows and roller coaster rides in wrestling. from 19 years ago to now, I mean, there's been so many changes. And now I would say the women are probably taken the most seriously as they ever have been.
Am I wrong in saying that I could see a little bit of Lita influence in your early stuff? Maybe the gear, some of the look?
You would be, and it's not a knock. It's not a knock on her at all. It wasn't influenced. That's just me as a person. I love rock music. I love funky stuff. So it wasn't. I actually wasn't, and I also didn't really have proper gear for a long time. I was just like finding stuff I thought looked cool, and in turn became my gear. Until I, started to get a little bit more professional.
Well, before we go, let the people know where they can follow you on social media.
Social media. My Twitter is @actualalove. My Instagram is alove4 life222. My Facebook is private because I had a stalker. So that's private. And then I also have a GoFundMe that I'm running. The link for it is in my Instagram bio, and it's in my Twitter bio. It is I am sending out care packages to babies and children fighting pediatric cancer. And my GoFundMe is going for as long as it can possibly go. I'm about to send out 3 more packages, so we'll have 9 kids total that we have sent to, and I'm still getting donations. And I'm still, because, there's just so many more kids that I'm finding and their families. And it's just, I have a toddler. My son's going to be 3 on St. Patrick's Day. And he's like my entire heart and soul. He is my entire world. And I couldn't even imagine what these other parents are going through that are watching their babies fight this terrible, awful, ugly, disgusting disease. Some of them going into remission and some of them not making it. So I just felt so compelled to try to help them, try to bring a smile to the kids' face, anything I could possibly do, because it just totally captured my heart. So that GoFundMe link is in my Twitter bio and it's in my Instagram bio. And then February 23rd, me and Kiera Hogan in Texas City.
We'll definitely include the link to your GoFundMe where you're helping out the pediatric cancer patients in the article and in the video.
It. Yeah, I have a new T-shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees as well, where all the proceeds from that T-shirt, they get sent to me, and then I send them to curechildhoodcancer.org.
Remember, guys, you can check out Ladies Night Out 5, either live, you can get tickets at realityofwrestling.com, or stream it live on TitleMatchWrestlingNetwork.com. Angelina, I want to thank you so much.